Welcome back. Many of you are wondering why I am impersonating Sean Connery. Simple fact of the matter is, we're continuing that joke we started back in the safe cracking tutorials. An inside joke involving me and, of course, Alex Trebek. But, since I can't keep that up for more than about 3 seconds, we're going to just go ahead and introduce the rest of the show, which is an exploding show. Your favorite, I know. Today we're going to use one of the most common explosives available to you, and legal, by the way, the airbag ejection charge. The purpose of this thing is to blow up an airbag. So it doesn't have very much explosives in it because, of course, it's meant to blow up in your face. Yeah, it's designed that way. However, this is more powerful than most because this is an American one. The European ones are a little punky. And of course, it's an older one. The older ones and the more American ones were the more powerful ones. And this is one of the most powerful of all. This is a driver's side, older, and American charge. No, wait. That's wrong. Passenger side. It's from the passenger side. Okay. Now, obviously these are fairly stable, or they wouldn't be able to put them in cars. They're also probably pretty waterproof, or they wouldn't work in Oregon. So we can use these either underwater, which we'll do in a later video. We want to start out one after another. We'll build up to underwater. Today is going to be underwater in a different context, but you'll see what I mean a little bit later. Now you'll also notice that I've cut off the connector and twisted the wires together. I want to point out that this is called shunting, and it is completely unnecessary in this regard because obviously they spent their whole lives unshunted, so why do it now? I just feel better about it, that's all. We're going to leave these twisted together until we actually hook up the firing circuit. And everything's clear, and then we're going to unshunt it and detonate it, which you'll see in a couple minutes. Now, this older style puck contains a very dangerous explosive called azide. In this case, sodium, I believe it is, sodium azide. However, if you're not careful, this can convert to other azides. In fact, you'll notice it has aluminum wires. For the same reason that modern blasting caps are made out of aluminum instead of copper. If you put modern ones, more modern ones, since about 2001 at least, are made out of exploding bat guano. And that is not a lie, that's true. Exploding bat pooty. A form of exploding bat pooty. The part that's not true is that they force feed bats burritos. We already checked that out. It's nothing to that rumor. Now what's dangerous about this is even if you don't convert it to a more unstable compound, if you somehow get it out of this cylinder, it's extremely toxic. Less than a gram, maybe half a gram of this will kill you dead. So the choice is yours. You can use this to kill 100 people or so, or you can use it to save your own life. Which will it be? Well, that's your choice. Bit selfish, I thought, but you know, especially on Earth Day. But that's your choice. It's judgment-free zone. So let's go ahead and go out in the yard and detonate this thing. The first thing we're going to do is put this in the ground. This is called a sump. This is going to protect everything around it from the potential side effects of the blast itself. It'll also help focus the blast, which is a very important factor when you're dealing with a very small amount of explosive like this. So, here we go. Okay, got the hole dug, and now we're going to set the sump. That's going to be this cardboard tube. As you can see, it's a little large for what we're going to use it for, but that doesn't matter, because we may be using it again later, depending on how it holds up. As an extra bonus, we found some wire doing this dig. Now, in our case, this is a plus, because I was going to need some wire anyway. But for those of you at home, call before you dig. That's important. it might not be one of these. When you dig it up, it might be a fiber optic cable, very expensive, or a water line, also can be expensive, or a gas line, could be dangerous. That's your public service announcement for today. Okay, so what's the purpose of the sump? In this case, I mentioned earlier that it's to focus the blast a little bit, but that's not really the case. I mean, it will do that to an extent. It's not shaped ideally for it, but close enough. And it's also kind of big, so it'll probably absorb more of the blast than I really want it to. But the main thing is that it's basically going to protect everything else around here. And the reason we make it out of cardboard is because if it fails to contain the blast, well, cardboard, as shrapnel goes, is pretty mild, so you're not going to worry about that. All right, let's go ahead and bury it. All right, looks like we're good. I probably shouldn't have to say this, but don't do this at home. Do it in your neighbor's yard. No, I'm just kidding. Now, I'm not a demolitions expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I did stay at a Motel 6 last night, so I feel relatively qualified in doing this. I have the bucket set up. The bucket has the equivalent weight of a human body in it, in water. Partly this is to simulate a human body, but also because water explosions are much cooler than dry explosions. You can take my word on that. Now, a lot of you will think that there's no way you could fit a human body in such a tub that size, right? You can. I guarantee it. If you weigh less than 200 pounds, I could fit you in that bucket. Now, normally the normal method of setting these off is to basically your 12-volt circuit in your car will set it off. But because I don't feel like bringing a car battery down here, I'm just going to use a regular blasting machine. I'm going to add the final touch to our explosion today, an alien head. I want to point out that we shouldn't expect a whole lot out of this. It's just a little tiny piece of explosive, and even though it is fairly well focused in this video, we'll see. Yeah, it's about how I figured it would go. Okay, that was disappointing. Even I was disappointed, and I wasn't expecting much. Up in a smaller bucket, has less mass to carry, and I'm going to put this in the center of mass. I also don't have any waterproofing compound, or I do, but it would take a long time. So this is just wrapped and then duct taped. No, I'm sorry, electrical taped. And it seems like a real primitive solution, but I guarantee you that'll give you about a half an hour. Even if you're like 20 feet underwater. I'm just going to dunk this in there, and then we'll try this again. The alien head stays in the picture. Better. Okay, well, there you go. I want to point out, as always, that no alien heads were harmed in that shoot. In fact, Rory, you can come pick this up anytime now. All right, so you're wondering what's the difference between the first shot and the second shot. The first one, of course, we're a little cautious. We put the charge underground and then blew it up, and it made a little thud, and it tipped over a bucket of water. Okay? The second time, the charge was placed center of the mass, so it was equally tamped on all sides. So all the energy was expended expelling water. Okay, so anyway, second one, same charge, same everything, better results, and that means next time when we start setting off these, we are to expect great things. Stay tuned.